Look what we have here. Someone's up late. I could hear you doing God knows what from the other end of the cell block. You do know that lights out was hours ago, right? You staying awake like this just means more work for me, since I actually have to watch your ass. If it were any day other than today, I would have written you up for being awake past curfew. But luckily enough, I came around looking for you. I've been meaning to speak to you for some time now, and since this lovely prison is spacious enough to have one inmate per cell, it looks like we'll have all the privacy we need. What do we need privacy for exactly? Don't ask me stupid questions. You'll find out soon enough, won't you? Let me just get this door open and we can have a nice little chat. Now, this is how it's gonna go. I have some questions I need to ask you pertaining to your conduct here at this prison. And you are going to answer each and every one truthfully and earnestly, like a good little inmate. Not the past week since you've arrived at this prison, you've been nothing but trouble for me. And as a correctional officer of this prison, it's my duty to ensure that inmates like you stay in line. So if that means needing to do a little overtime to correct your behavior, then that's exactly what I'll do. Another stupid fucking question. Ask me something like that again, and see what happens. Is this legal? Of course not. Is that brain of yours just for show? You've been getting on my nerves as of late, and so what better way to get a point across than to do so in a more private setting, one where not even the bounds of the law can protect you. No cameras, no wires, only you and I. As I mentioned, your recent actions have been more than a little out of line, which is why I deemed it necessary to step in, regardless of how drastic or morally questionable these measures might seem to you. Now, even though we do have this area to ourselves, there are still other inmates in the area, mostly sleeping, but inmates nevertheless. Because of this, you're going to stay quiet. Can you do that for me? Good. Now come here. Now, you have some explaining to do, don't you? Well, go on then. Speak. You're shaking so much. Don't tell me you're this afraid of me already. I haven't even hurt you yet. And for your sake, I do hope you start talking soon. My patience is running thin, and I'm afraid I won't be able to hold myself back much longer. You're full of shit. You know how I know that? Because you can't even look up at me. So anxious I can practically smell your fear. I have to say, it does suit you quite well. I haven't paid particular attention to this until now, but we do have quite the height difference, don't we? Well, you're practically eye level with my... Never mind that. But as I was saying, inmate, I believe you have something to say to me. An admission of everything you've done since coming here that's made my job so much more difficult. And I must say, it's quite an offense, so I'm afraid I don't know what you're talking about, officer. Isn't a sufficient answer. The only place it'll get you is on my bad side, sweetheart. And judging by how easily I was able to pin you against this wall, I doubt you would stand much of a chance against me. Look at you trying to struggle out of my grip now. You just get more and more pathetic at our every interaction. But sadly, I only take pity on those who know how to follow simple instructions. So how about you be a good boy and tell me what I want to hear, yeah? And here you go again, insisting that you have no idea what I'm talking about. You do realize that I'm not leaving until you admit what you've done, right? It's interesting how you're acting so bold just this evening when you, and I quote, said, "Yes, I'll be a good boy for you, Mommy. After I simply instructed you to do something. Now does that sound like proper conduct in an institution like this to you? You're going to look at me when I'm talking to you. Is that any way to speak to someone who's so clearly above you? Yes, you say? Well, you're a funny one, aren't you? I suppose I'll take that as your admission of guilt. Maybe someone kinder than me would have let you off with just that. But I'm far from kind. Apologize. Apologize for distracting me while I was on my shift, for making me lose my focus, and in the middle of the day no less. Because of you, I've been distracted for hours now, hardly able to concentrate on my job. Yes, that's what I want you to apologize for taking my mind off my work, and especially so forwardly. You do know that harassing prison staff is a serious offense, right? If I really wanted to, I could completely ruin your fucking life. Even reporting just this little incident would be bound to add some time onto your stay here. Now, taking that into consideration, would you rather swallow your clearly non-existent pride and apologize to me, or are you gonna make me do something I really don't want to do? That's a good boy. Now, you're going to take responsibility for what you did to me.